how the giants were wiped out by the Great Flood in an effort by God to wipe out all evil. The hilt is also covered in Norse runes, implied to be some kind of magic, which is interesting because traditionally pagan magic and Christianity didn't exactly get along. And the other cool thing about this sword is that it was described as damascened, that is, having been put through the process to create Damascus steel. Now, for those of you who don't know, Damascus steel is a legendarily tough metal whose forging process has been lost, which has endlessly frustrated modern metallurgists since there are a ton of Damascus steel blades lying around, and you'd think we'd be able to reverse engineer something. But no, every time we try, we just keep finding weirder and weirder things about Damascus steel that makes us want to know how to make it even more. For instance, not only do the blades look super cool and magic, kind of like liquid metal, they've actually been shown to contain carbon nanotubes. Carbon goddamn nanotubes. How does that even happen? But anyway, back to Beowulf. So King Hygelac and his next of kin go the way of all badasses, and Beowulf finds himself crowned king of the Yates, who he manages to rule without incident for a solid 50 years. That is, until some rando manages to piss off a dragon by stealing a cup from its hoard. And hey, guess what? Beowulf has another monster to fight. For background, the dragon had been chilling for the past god knows how long in a barrow full of gold. The barrow was a burial mound for a troop of warriors from some ancient and noble race, and it had been filled to bursting with fancy treasure. The dragon lived there undisturbed until some tricksy hobbit snuck in and stole his favorite teacup or something. The dragon objects to this rather strenuously, and decides to hunt down the thief the old-fashioned way, by burning everything in sight on the principle that he's gotta hit the criminal eventually. And hey, if this is reminding you of anything... yeah, that isn't a coincidence. Tolkien was a fan of the classics, but the dragon pisses off the wrong Yeet when he torches Beowulf's house, so Beowulf does his thing and decides to challenge the dragon to single combat. So
okay.
Beowulf and his 12 backup dancers go track down the dragon, bringing with them both the thief and the stolen shiny thing. Now, you might think that using weapons to kill a 100-foot fire-breathing hellspawn could be considered poor sportsmanship, but Beowulf acknowledges that trying to barehanded wrestle a goddamn dragon might not end well for him. So he brings that fancy sword Hygelac gave him. It's called Nailing, it's an heirloom, and it's shiny as hell. But that doesn't matter for very long since it snaps in half 3 seconds into the fight. God, they go through swords like coffee filters around here. So the majority of Beowulf's posse bails and skedaddles into the woods, all except for one, a bloke named Wiglaf, one of Beowulf's kinsmen, who couldn't stand idly by and watch Beowulf be mildly inconvenienced by a tidal wave of hellfire. So Wiglaf rushes to Beowulf's aid just in time for the dragon to get in a lucky hit and bite Beowulf clean through the neck. Now, you might think this would be a problem for Beowulf. Only if you haven't been paying any attention, of course. Nah, Beowulf uses this opportunity to go for his dagger, while Wiglaf manages to find a soft spot in the dragon's armor and gets in a hit. Whereupon, Beowulf finishes the job with his trusty knife. So now the battle is over, you'd think Beowulf would start succumbing to that gaping neck wound of his, right? Nah, he's too cool to succumb to a little thing like massive blood loss. On the other hand, deadly dragon poison could certainly pose a problem. So Beowulf's actually dying, and he's like, Wiglaf, come closer. I have one last request. Could you go drag the treasure out of the barrow so I can take one last look at the riches I just won? Yeah. So Wiglaf zips into the barrow, comes back out with an armload of the shiniest of the treasure, and Beowulf is like, thanks kid, have fun being the next king, and dies. So Wiglaf, now King Wiglaf, exiles the 11 dudes who ran away from the dragon, and the Yeats retrieve the rest of the dragon's treasure and hold Beowulf's funeral. Then they set up a kick-ass barrow for Beowulf, reburying the dragon's treasure in with him, where, according to the text, it remains to this day. Don't get your hopes up though, some dragon probably already called dibs. Heaven and hell have long fascinated writers, poets, and all us other flaky artistic types with our heads in the clouds, or, as the person varies, several kilometers underground and on fire. But there's one iconic text that has essentially served as a hitchhiker's guide to hell for nearly 700 years, and it was written by one Dante Alighieri. It's called the Divine Comedy, but most people only ever care about the first third of it, descriptively titled The Inferno, which is actually a rather odd title because only part of hell is actually on fire at any given time, and the worst bits are rather more chilling. But I digress. The thing to be aware of about The Inferno before we start looking at it is that it's basically Dante's self-insert historical fan fiction in which capitalism sucks. Don't demonetize me, YouTube. But for real, ever since the invention of money, people with too much would rather sit on a big pile of it than use it to do any good, and people with too little would suffer as a result. And since people have this weird habit of correlating wealth with personal worth, a lot of work goes into assigning moral reasons why some people are poor and some people aren't. Poverty always has to be their fault somehow, and wealth has to be deserved by the people who have it. There's no way it could be, oh, I don't know, a highly complex and archaic socio-political system heavily biased against the success of entire demographics while strongly supporting the already wealthy and powerful, producing a vast and powerful system engineered solely for the purposes of making the rich richer and the poor poorer. Nope, that bazillionaire is totally a bootstrapping icon who definitely Happy Halloween, everybody! Now, as you know, I generally do special spooky episodes in honor of the world's best holiday, and more specifically, I usually cover a classic work of great horror fiction. Unfortunately, I kinda ran out. I mean, there's more horror books out there, but once you've covered Dracula, Frankenstein, Lovecraft, Poe, and Jekyll and Hyde, the great seminal works of horror fiction start getting a little thinner on the ground and a lot less interesting. Now, I was planning on breaking the formula anyway by covering a much more subtle creepy classic, The Count of Monte Cristo, a harrowing Norse mythology. Man, Thor is so cool, but isn't he kind of overpowered? I mean, it seems like he's never met a problem he couldn't hammer until it went away. Hasn't he ever struggled?
Down, this is a mythology.
Is this a mythology?
Take me to the treasure room. I want to see it. I will speak the magic words. Open sesame. I knew they were hiding it.
Anyway, here's that deposit I wanted to make.
Aha! What's this?
The mythological Holy Grail. I won't be needing this for another 6 months.
All this and more on this episode of In the Quarantine.
Do you know the story of Orpheus?
Is that the guy that travels down to Hades?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I know this one. Yeah, this is a good one. Okay.
Everyone loves this theremin player, including, what was her name? Eurydice?
Eurydice.
Okay,
Yeah.
and they fall in love, and all is well.
So she's a beautiful woman, and he loves her very much, and he plays beautiful music for her, and the music makes everyone happy, and it's more than just that. It also encourages things to grow, and everyone loves this dude. And his lady walks off, goes into the forest, and there, I think she's running away, and she gets bitten by a snake. She was in a NordVPN ad. It was region locked, so they couldn't suck out the poison. And so she died and she went down to Hades.
He named it after himself, which,
Yeah.
you know, that just saves time, I suppose. It might be a little bit confusing. Oh, I'm going to Hades. Oh, how was he? Oh, well, I didn't actually see him, but I went to his house. So Orpheus finds his wife dead and is stricken, so he has to go get his wife back from Hades. So he walks to Hades through like a hole in the ground, I believe.
Yes. He goes down these thousands and thousands of steps, and he reaches the river Styx. And there he sees the boatman.
The boatman. I like to think of the boatman with like headphones on. He's not really that enthusiastic about his job.
No, well, why would you be at that point? Yeah, same old, same old. Arr. What do ye want?
Hi, yeah, I'm Orpheus. I'm a pretty major musician in the upper world. You might have heard of me.
Nope.
Okay, well, that's good that I reminded you of it then. Anyway, I'm new in town and I'm looking for the best boat service possible to get me straight to Hades. The guy, not the place.
Well, it's just me, and you're not getting on because you're clearly alive.
Well, I mean, I don't think you should hold it against me. What is this? Oh, I didn't expect to run into such prejudice in this eternal lake of fire and sinners.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't mean to discriminate. I was some of my best friends are alive.
Where can you take me? What part of hell can you take me that's close?
Listen, you can't get on the boat. People need to pay me to get on this boat. You know, man's got to make a living. I don't know what I do with the cash. I don't know why there is a toll to pay for this ferry. Because to be honest, I just take all these coins and I put them over here in this big pile. It's kind of like a Scrooge McDuck thing. Listen, I'm not a man easily convinced. You're either dead or you're not getting on the boat.
What if I told you that this was a mission for love?
I wouldn't be moved. Unless there was some sort of music that you were going to play on the lyre.
What can persuade this boatman, I wonder to myself? Perhaps a banging tune on my lyre.
Yeah, I'm going to take off my headphones. Go on. Can you do Toto? Africa? I like that one.
Oh yeah, of course. That's what every lyre player knows how to do, Toto.
Rain.
Raining men. Oh, that's another song. That will do.
You know what? I'm convinced. That's a beautiful tune. I'm so moved. I'm going to take you down the river.
Terrific.
Wipe your shoes first.
Sure. What am I seeing in hell?
Oh man, there's a whole bunch of lost souls underneath you. Yeah, you get used to the wailing. Over there's a fire. It doesn't go out for some reason. I don't know what else there is down here, to be honest. Last and only stop. Don't forget to give me a good rating on Uber.
Sure, no worries.
5 stars, please.
Thanks. Surely it'd be lift as hell.
What, no tip? There's bottled water in the back.
I would have given a tip, but the whistle-stop tour of the adulterers lining up in front of a little guillotine really bummed me out. So,
Oh, sorry. So, you get down to Hades. Fee fi fo fum, who's this?
great Lord Hades, it is I, Orpheus, famous musician of the Overground.
Who?
Don't worry about it. People know me. It's okay. Anyway, I'm here for my girlfriend. You've got her, and I'd like to take her back to the top world, please and thank you.
I don't think so, actually. Once someone comes down to Hades, they don't ever leave. And my wife's here to back me up. Oh, yeah, no, actually, you don't get to leave. And you know what? I'm a pretty big deal. So I'm going to have a second wife. And you know what? Her name's going to be Eurydice.
What? Oh, Hades, you're out of line.
2 wives, innit? Twice as good.
Oh, but she's my wife.
Well, I'm in charge.
That's true. But I feel like I can persuade you by do 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 Toto in Africa.
Okay, alright, cracking tune. You know what? I think it's good. But I am still unmoved. But, hold on a minute. Oh, my wife. Oh, she's crying. She is moved. Oh, please, Hades. Oh, please, let him have his wife back. You know what? I'm gonna make you a deal. This one time, I'm gonna let someone have their wife back. But, special conditions. She's going to leave behind you, and she will not make any noise whatsoever. But you must not turn around to see that she is there. And if you do turn around, then she will be mine forever.
I'm just making notes as you say this. So, got it. Walking behind me.
Yep.
Don't turn around.
Yep.
Got it. Well, that seems simple enough there, Hades. I'm sure that won't be a problem.
Alright, I have to go.
Out through the little fire exit.
I believe he plays the lyre on the way out to try and guide her out, or something like that.
This guy is very self-involved, isn't he? He's always...
Every solution involves the lyre. Yep. It's like Wolverine. Every solution is the claws.
So he walks out. For some reason, he wants to look behind him because he can't hear her. So he looks.
No, don't look.
And she just is there, and then she just slowly gets like pulled back into hell.
Do you remember what happens next?
Bit of a blur from here. I think Orpheus is pretty upset about what went down.
Sure is.
Probably plays a sad song on the lyre to himself.
More than just a sad song. So there he is, and it's driving everyone mad. If I remember correctly, women are miscarrying, people are killing themselves, crops aren't growing properly.
That is a bad song.
That's a bad song, and he's playing this way for days and days, and then eventually the villagers go, fuck this, and they decide to kill him.
I'm reading it here. It's a group of irate women, they've called it, which I think is very funny. The women kill him and cut his body into pieces and throw him and his lyre into the river. Outrageous. That's
a bummer.
Yeah. Poor Orpheus.
I don't know if it's going to be trite to point out the whole problem with Icarus. I suppose the Greeks have never been up high before, and they just didn't know that actually things get colder up there, and anyway, he's flying along, and the wings are made of feathers and wax, and apparently the wax smells, but that doesn't make no sense, because it gets colder, innit?
You know, I've never considered that aspect of the myth. You know, you've got your time machine, and you go back to ancient Greece to find whoever made this myth, because obviously you need to correct them with all the intensity of someone in the comments who needs to correct your incorrect facts.
Yeah, like a scorning teacher.
Exactly. Actually, Daedalus, or whoever told this myth, actually, when you go up high, it actually gets colder. Do you know much about Socrates?
Socrates?
From most descriptions, he was just like a rambling madman who walked around with no shoes on, but everyone thought he was pretty wise.
There were people who were more rambling and more mad, but he was certainly one of them. He used to go around accosting people in the
philosophy center.
Yeah, and he used to just ask people questions until they submitted. Yeah, he used to go, oh, what's a horse? And they go, oh, I don't know, about 60 quid. No, what is a horse? And they go, oh, well, it's a big creature with 4 legs. You go, oh, okay, so is every creature that's big and has 4 legs a horse? Well, no, there's elephants and giraffes. Oh, okay. So what makes a horse then? Well, you can ride on it. He would just ask questions and questions and questions.
He sounds incredible.
Insufferable.
Yeah, totally obnoxious.
That's why he was executed.
Yeah, they made him drink poison. It was just like, I've had enough of this guy. There's just two ancient Greek dudes hanging out in the philosophy center, just chatting away, just like, oh yeah, maybe I've heard there might be war with Sparta. Oh shit, it's Socrates, he's here, act normal. Hey guys, ever wonder if we're all living in a cave? Man, we're not, man, like, this guy.
Look, I do shadow puppets. We don't want to see the shadow puppets again. Not again.
This is the thing about philosophy in general, it's all about like contrary knowledge. It's all about going, oh, you think the world works this way? Well, what if it worked like this?
I think the world goes a little something like this. He was charged and found guilty of blasphemy
Yes.
and for corrupting the youth, I think.
Well, yes, he had a bit of a history of that, didn't he? Allegedly.
Not the sodomy. They mean like corrupting the youth's minds
Yes.
by doing the blasphemy.
There's that famous painting of him being handed his poison.
He was like 72 or something when he died, wasn't he?
Ah.
I think the idea was that he figured, well, what I got now is further decline. I guess I may as well go. Boy, he's loving it. He's loving it. Chugging it down.
So this is what I've always been waiting for. This is why I've been annoying you all for so long.
Anyway, so I was correct.
Like, everyone's interpreted this painting to mean like, oh, I'm so sad. When really they're just like, thank God, he's finally gonna shut the fuck up.
On the left here with the curly hair, he's just slamming his head against the wall. Shut up, shut up. This dude, he's a little more tolerant. This dude is going, just drink it. Just come on, man. Hurry up.
Come on, man.
And then this guy's got his hand over his ears. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually does. Just like, this guy has got to go.
Anyway, so that's the reason why Season 8 of Game of Thrones wasn't actually that bad. Fuck.
Don't throw rocks in a glass house. Never quite understood the meaning of that phrase.
What, of glass houses?
Yeah, so why shouldn't people... I mean, obviously, they shouldn't throw rocks in a glass house to break the glass, but what are they... What kind of behavior is that supposed to...
It's a thing against hypocrisy, so a small amount of criticism in return could also do a huge amount of damage, because the person who's living in the glass house is guilty of so much.
That's what I was missing. Guilty of walking around in just a t-shirt. Not completely naked, a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I just think that's more offensive.
We can do fables, right?
Yeah, let's do fables.
Yeah, okay. What, Aesops?
Aesops.